Hi everyone, welcome to the MBA 627 Advanced Business Research class. My name is Dr. Dereje Tesema, and in this lecture or in the next 8 weeks we will be discussing the opportunity for you to pull together and build upon what you've learned in the last 4 semesters and utilize this knowledge in the analysis of complex business problems. Synthesizing and applying knowledge gained earlier in course, and you will apply these skills through the actual business cases or through the actual research. This course is also enhance your knowledge, ability, and skills to conduct an original business research project using qualitative and quantitative approaches. You are expected to understand, analyze, draw research conclusions as well as present findings in a business problem of your choice, develop either a service or analyze the problem based on your preference, and you'll also use the APA standard to format your research paper and your presentation. I'm sure the next 8 weeks will be interesting time, because this is one research area, or this is one class that you have to pay attention from the beginning to the end, because the outcome of this research is basically what you want to accomplish from your course, from your MBA course. All right, a little bit about the introduction, but let's go ahead and define what the business research is. There are many variations of business research available out in many of those research books, but the one that sticks out and the one that many books uses is a process of determining, acquiring, analyzing, synthesizing, and disseminating relevant business data, information, and insights to decision makers in ways that mobilize the organization to take appropriate business actions that in turn maximize the business performance. So it is a process of identifying your research problem, a process of defining the gap between what you see now and then what you'd like to see at the end of your research project. At the same time, identifying your research questions. These are the questions that will be used as a springboard for you to jump into the research world. This is also a process of formulating your hypothesis and finding out your research research questions, hypothesis, and as well as your theoretical framework. Means that your theory, and then finally you will be also working on your research. The other part that we're going to discuss this quarter is we try to understand what business research is and how it differs from the business decision support systems and the business intelligence systems. The trends affecting business research and emerging hierarchy of business decision makers, and the distinction between good business research and research that falls short of professional quality. And finally, we will discuss the nature of the research process. So one could ask, why study business research? Why do we need doing a research in business? Remember, business research provides information to guide business decision. At the end of the day, whether it's a small company or a large multi-billion company or organizations, they use their research to make an informed decision, especially in this dynamic and complex world. Good research is like a parachute, means that help you to land on the right spot at the right time. Okay, business research, it plays an important role in an environment that emphasizes measurement. Measurement means return on investment. Return of investment means that you wanted to know what would be the value or the benefit of for every dollar you spend on your research. So return of investment is the calculation of the financial return for all business expenditures, and it's emphasizing more now than ever before. Business research is increasingly getting tight and getting expensive, because you have to do a number of analysis. You have to scratch, you have to collect data, you have to crunch numbers, you have to do a lot of analysis. So it is not an easy endeavor at all. Of course, business research should help respond to change. Means that there is a change in the economy, and organizations are forced to adopt that change in order to stay competitive and in order to be one of the market makers. So enterprises have long recognized the need to better sense and in response to business change. Sometimes you may think you may have a roadmap that will stay for 5, 6, 7 years, and all of a sudden within a couple of months the business model changes, and your roadmap, what you brag to be your blueprint, will be obsolete. So it's constantly changing, and you have to respond as an organization. You have to respond to the business change. What is different today is the ubiquitous access of information and the real-time communication have fostered an always-on business culture where decision-making has been just-in-time process. Sometimes you may make a decision within a couple of hours, because that decision will have a big implication on your existence at all. So before doing all of those decisions, your organization need constant research, collecting those data and see what is available in market, who is doing what, and what is the implication of making decisions. So whether you like it or not, as an individual or as a small organization or even as a large corporate, we're constantly battling to get access to those research data so that we can make an informed decision. One of the things business research do to your business is reduce the level of risk that your company or your organization will need to take. So research will help us see what is coming up and prepare for a mitigation or a response strategy for what's coming up in the pike. So remember, we're living in an interconnected world where the technology and the infrastructure made it possible to have information flow from one side of the world to the other in an instance. So there are many factors that affect your business research or influence your research, because these factors have their own pro and con, but in general it's good to go through and then discuss each one of them. The first one is information overload. While the internet and its search engine presents extensive amount of information, imagine nowadays we are producing terabytes of data a day. This is unprecedented, It has never been like this. So we have this big data, and the issue with that is the majority of those data are pretty much noises, and there are few signals. So it's our challenge to pick those signals out of the noise. So the ubiquitous access to information has brought about the development of knowledge communities and the need for organizations to leverage its knowledge universe of innovative of risks merely drawing in data. So stakeholders now have more information at their disposal and are more resistant to business stimuli. So the more data you get, then the more the opportunity is high to connect those dots and to find out a possible pathway to resolve or to get to. The information overload is one. Technological connectivity is another impact. Now you can do research using survey, using your online survey system, and the technology actually enabled researchers to collect data quietly and quickly. Shifting global economics is another factor for business research. Remember, we no longer have a one dominant market in the world. The Chinese are coming. The BRICS are pretty much to become the next world leader in economics and in marketing. So BRICS means that it's Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South America. South Africa. So these 5 countries are considered to be an emerging economy in the world, and it's always important to see what's going on in each one of these because the shifting in economics will also force people to start researching of the possible market potentials over there, the impediments, the culture, and other factors. Of course, critical, security of business is another factor affecting or influencing research. Remember, each business is a secret. It's kind of a secret ingredient or a formula for your success, and you don't want to get your business model or your business idea being stolen out and being practiced by other companies. So it's critical scrutiny of business, and the security is another impact. Of course, government intervention. Those regulations and those rules applied by the government to protect the public and to protect the environment has a significant impact on business research. Oftentimes, government provide research data or even raw data as part of an open government, for example, in the United States, for the private industry to use this massive data to analyze and connect the dots and find out the trends, find out the possible challenges, and find out even some of the issues the industries are having. So government intervention is affecting the business in one way or another. A battle for analytical talent is another factor, how you do research, and nowadays that's why you will be trained and you are in the MBA program or in many of those masters and PhD programs, because the industry is looking a lot of business analysts, a lot of enterprise architects, a lot of business intelligence experts. So the battle for analytical talent is huge. That's why you see a lot of corporate espionage, a lot of resource movement from one place to another, because the more you pay, and then the better folks you are getting for your research. Of course, computing power and speed is another factor for your research. today's computer will process thousands and thousands lines of code in a fraction of a second. That means that instead of going through the Excel sheets and then the paper and going through one by one, those analytical tools, including SPSS, SAS, and then other analytical tools, will help your business team to expedite their research process, and of course also to cut research time. The last one, for the last factor that affect your research is the new research perspective. You, instead of doing the standard research process where you collect data and then you identify your variables, people start using a different mindset. One example could be the Bayesian economic theorem, which was available since 50-60 years, but people start looking that model because the Bayesian theorem considered some of the conditional probabilities or some of the conditional variables for designing and then forecasting your research. So a new research perspective also of course shed light on how we do business in this era. When we see the place of research in an organization, we will realize that business planning, the organizational mission and vision and strategy actually drives your business research, because an organization's missions drive its business goal, strategies and tactics, and consequently its need for business decision support system and then business intelligence rises. So you need to understand the difference in this concept to fully get the impact of the business organizational mission and goal to your business research. If you take those, the top 5-10 IT companies like Microsoft, Google, Apple, Oracle, and Cisco, and then other companies, their research is driven by their business mission, their strategy. Because they know where they're going to invest their research money, because the result of their research money is supposed to be helpful for their competitiveness. So it's important that our organizational mission, business tactics, and business strategy drives the business research. And you will know in detail as we move on to the next couple of slides that why it is important to focus on a specific area of your business. So let's go quickly over the business strategy. So what is a business strategy? You may have a different definition for that, but one general concept about business strategy is the general approach of an organization how to follow to achieve its business goal. This strategy might describe how a company can best position itself to fulfill customer needs, or establish a general approach to gaining broad equity. So the strategy is, think about the business strategy for Oracle or Amazon or Microsoft. It's their how it's kind of their vehicles to get into where they wanted to go. So the business decision and business strategy drives your business research. Okay. So we've discussed a high-level summary of the importance of business research, why we need to conduct business research, and who drives or what drives the business research. And now if let's just go and probably summarize as what are the characteristics of good business research. This is by no means an exclusive definition or characteristics, but this is just to show you how important these characteristics for your business. And the first one is clearly defined purpose. I'm sure you're not going to spend organizations are not going to spend their precious resources just because they want to do research. So it has to have a clear and defined purpose: to be competitive in market, to purchase or to acquire another company, or to gain knowledge on how to design a specific product. So one has to have a definite purpose. Of course, good research should also have a detailed research process. The process, which we're going to discuss in great detail in the next couple of lectures, the process determined how you do your business. If you don't have a proper framework, or if you don't have a process that is supported by the tools and techniques, chances are high that your research will fail. So it's important to pay attention about your process, the process of your research. Of course, you need thoroughly planned design. That's why chapter 1 of your research is what we consider as the GPS of your research. Means that you plan your research, you see, you define and outline the major components of your research that you're going to use in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, and above. That's one. So the design process is good. The other characteristics of good research is it has to have a high ethical standards. Ethics and research they go one in one. With the name of research, there were a lot of misfortunes made, especially in the late 70s and in the early 80s, that organizations were using research to gain their competitive advantage by breaking an ethical law. And we're gonna discuss the type of the organizations responsible for enforcing that ethics, and those organizations are also overviewing and controlling the universities and higher educations and research institutions how to conduct their research. Okay, of course, your research need to have limitations addressed. Remember, no research will give an answer in one go. So you will run into many issues that you're gonna that impede your research. So your good research need to include not only the good part that the research produce, but also the limitation. So what's the limitation of your research, whether it's the analytical limitation or time or funding or cooperation between participants, lack of sampling. So you have to define and clearly identify what the limitation. And of course, a good research need to provide an adequate analysis. It's not like a shallow analysis, and you remember the outcome of your research help you to make a critical decision that will make or break your company. So the analysis has to be thoroughly performed using the standard statistical methodology, so that you will know the exact relationship between one or more variables, and then you also will know their impact. Of course, there is also ambiguous presentations. A good research should be unambiguous in terms of presenting its findings, and that's one characteristic. And of course, good research should have a justified conclusions. If you do research properly, then you're gonna have a better chance of providing information to justify your conclusion. Of course, the last part is your credentials. Credential means that who is doing your research, and what are the credentials for these people doing that research, and how are they doing their research. So this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, it's about 10 key characteristics of good research are listed here, and I'm sure when you do your research you will use either all of them or most of them to make sure that you are doing what you are doing. All right, let's talk a little bit about the type of studies that you're going to engage when you are doing your research, or organizations or any entity should will do. There are 4 major types of studies categorized as reporting studies, the descriptive, explanatory, and predictive studies. Reporting studies provides a summation of data, often recasting data to achieve a deeper understanding or generate statistics for comparison. It means that you do research to gain an understanding and of what the outcome of this research, and you do in a report form. So this is kind of one form of research. A descriptive study, on the other hand, tries to discover answers to the questions who, what, when, where, and sometimes how. Means that who is doing what, and what are the factors affecting a specific outcome, when should an organization pay attention, where is the issue, and how one addresses the issue using those research. So a descriptive research method is a bit complicated, but it's also one of the few research methods that social science research are engaged on that. An explanatory study attempts to explain the reasons for the phenomenon that the descriptive study only observed. So explanatory research could be a research that understand what happened to a specific event. For example, what are the factors affecting the 2008 economic crisis, the US and then the world economic crisis. Explanatory means that your research go in detail and collect information and do analyze, and at the end provide an explanation of what happened, who was responsible, and what could have been done to prevent this issue. So that's another type of study. And then the last part is predictive research. Predictive research is the kind of research that attempts to predict when and in what situation an event will occur. And in this study may also be described as applied research to the basic research. So predictive means that for forecasting, trend analysis, and other forms of research are categorized under the predicted research. So in summary, the nature of research, we define research as something that people undertake in order to find things out in a systematic way, thereby increasing their knowledge. So it's about getting knowledge and making the right decision. Remember, when you do research, the first thing that comes to mind is, what knowledge am I going to get? What new insight my research will bring to your organizations, to the companies, and using that knowledge, how those companies make an informed decision so that they will gain value from their research. And during research, data are collected systematically, they are interpreted systematically, and then the application will be used to make sure that the research will have a positive impact on the outcome of your organizational value and strategy. Remember, business is driven by the organization's mission, vision, strategy, and goal, and each one of them has a big impact, or direct impact on the outcome of your research. All right. Okay. So this is kind of what is a business research in a nutshell. In the next several slides, on the next lecture, we're going to go in detail each one of them, and we'll explain their impact and their contribution to your organizations. All right. If you have any question or concern, you let me know. If not, then thank you for staying with me, and